someone doesn't believe in your vision or your sound or whatever you're doing, crack on, make it happen yourself. You know, that's the only way to do it.
Hey, I'm Graham Farmer, founder of the dance music magazine Data Transmission and Twitch partner, streaming on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays from 1 p.m. On this channel, we share the full interviews from my Twitch streams. But before we jump into this interview, if you can help this video get more reach by giving it a like and a comment, it'd be most appreciative. And don't forget to consider subscribing so you always get notified when we drop new interviews. Hey! Hello, mate.
How you doing, guys? How you doing, Graham? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Welcome to Twitch. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm just busy working on my next single, actually. So I'm just trying to wrap that up at the moment. And me and Matrix have this thing called Mixdown Hell, and I'm in Mixdown Hell at the moment.
Oh, no. What happens in Mixdown Hell?
Oh, you just kind of go on. It's like going on a merry-go-round that never ever stops. And so eventually someone has to drag you off the merry-go-round and say it's good.
Do you? How does that work? Do you do your own mixdowns, or do you kind of export it?
Yeah. I mean, what I like doing, I like getting the records to a point. I'm very slow with making records. I like to kind of start tracks. I like to kind of shelve it, you know, and then go back into it at different times and when I'm in a different headspace, and then kind of let it grow over time. Really, do you know what I mean? And then. That's how I like to do it. I know a lot of other guys in the scene like to do it like that as well. And yeah. And then just kind of try and get the track to a certain point where it's really popping, you know.
That's cool. And this is it's going to be the pair. It's going to be the pair of you back to combined track.
This is just. Well, actually, we're talking about getting back in the studio very soon, actually, nice. And just like going with a whole new. Lot of fresh new M&F content, you know.
Nice.
But he's got a new single, Matrix, and I've got a single, this one I'm working on at the moment, and we've got a couple of remixes solo as well, which we've got ready to come out. So, yeah, we're going to get them out, and then you could be seeing the next series of M&F.
Nice. Wicked. That's exciting. Wicked.
Yeah.
Let's start. Let's start gang in the chat, we're going to start with the obvious one. As it's a lunchtime, we always ask our guests what you kind of either your favourite thing for lunch, or we usually have we're into meal deals on this series. And my usual meal deal is now, it used to be kind of really unhealthy, double, triple bacon, sandwich. I used to get the triple pack breakfast deal, and I kind of like the last year I've been trying to lose a bit of weight, so now it's down to a salad and a water and some healthy chicken. But so I kind of get it, it's kind of evolving. I thought I'd ask you your favourite meal deal, or if you've got a go-to meal deal, just to start off and just keep it simple.
I actually especially during the week, I watch what I'm trying to eat, you know what I mean? I try and cut out alcohol in the week, do a lot of training. So I definitely watch what I eat in terms of, I prefer cooking my own food. But if I have to go out and get something, I'm on the run or whatever, I kind of like Waitrose or Marks and Spencer sort of pasta with some bacon and honey.
Nice.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I like the pastas. Yeah, I'm all about the pasta as well. That's cool. How's the last 2 years been for you? How have you weathered the pandemic? How have that's been for you?
Well, I can swear on this, can't I?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's been fucking shit, hasn't it, really? You know?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I understand why certain people have been getting really down with it, and I know certain people in this game have, because they've not been able to play shows and not being able to kind of, entertain and do what we do and stuff. They just not bothered going in the studio. They just kind of fell off the cliff a little bit, but just kind of what's the point, you know? I was quite the opposite, and the team of Viper were quite the opposite as well. We were like, we're going to work harder here. We've got to work harder, and we've got to do. We've got a duty to the artists, and we've got a duty to ourselves and our families to kind of make this work. You know, it was absolutely shit. The fact from being an artist that you're going in the studio throughout the week and there's nowhere to play the records, and that's what I got into this whole thing for. I got into this to entertain and to be on the stage DJing. That was the start of this, and I still feel like that today and stuff. So when that was taken away from us, it was just, oh man, it was like a smash around the head with a baseball bat, you know what I mean? It's like, what's going on? Why am I here every weekend, It was just like there was no escape, wasn't it,
Yeah. But I bet the first few weeks were just like, have you been touring hard as well? You've been your weekend would just be weird, I guess, as well. Like, what do I do? What happens now? I've not got to get on a plane or a train or a boat or a bus or
exactly
a camel,
that, yeah. And leading up to that first lockdown, my schedule was crazy. You know what I mean? I was in Mexico, then straight back and went go to Austria, doing a Viper show over there, and just like there was loads of shows leading up to it, and then it was just like that was it, And it was the week that the first lockdown kicked in. We were supposed to play Rampage in Belgium, and that was the first one that got cancelled. And fuck, what a show to get cancelled,
Oh, that's a big show.
Yeah, those sort of things are like the highlight of your career, and just the highlight of your year, you know what I mean? Playing to that many people, and I mean, it's hard to explain how it feels until you're up there, you know what I mean? And you're doing your thing, and it's just immense, the feeling, and everything that you work hard for, they're the kind of the nice results,
Yeah. What did you change stuff from the label point of view? Did you sign different music? Did you sign less music? Did you put more music out? How did that kind of dynamic work?
Absolutely nothing changed from the label side of things. As I said, we went full steam ahead, and we kind of restructured the company in a whole different way as well, in terms of how we were ingesting the records and getting the best out of our records to earn more revenue for the artist. Really, that was one thing that was very important to us, to kind of improve that, and all their live side went. So there's a big chunk of their money that's gone, and we had to do something to kind of get the costs down, and work out better fees per release to to kind of get the release in place before it goes into the stores in terms of artwork and videos and just do everything that we could really to kind of make sure the artists were getting every penny back, as much money
That's
back
cool.
off the releases. And we really achieved it as well. I've got to say, I look back on it now and I was like, we did some great things and signed new artists as well. Kept on working hard for the ones that we had. So yeah, nothing changed for us. It was just full steam ahead on the label side. That was one thing about the whole kind of lockdown thing. Nothing changed in terms of people listening to music. Because I remember when the lockdown happened and we were kind of really keeping an eye on kind of record sales and how people were streaming and consuming the records, it was going to have an effect. And from our side of things, it didn't have an effect at all. It really kept strong,
That's mad. I know I've spoken to other people and they've said they saw loads of upstreams in their back catalogue, and their kind of newer stuff was suffered a little bit. But were you the same? Did your new stuff kind of just pop as well, because of your audience?
Well, the streaming side of things kept at a nice level, you know what I mean? It kept at that consistent level, didn't drop off at all. And what we did see it was a massive increase, and I'm sure everyone else did as well, a massive increase in downloads because just obviously everyone was doing live streams, weren't they, from home and stuff like that, and making the best of the bad situation. And so downloads went up as well. It was great. But that kind of soon went down once everyone got bored of watching live streams,
Did you get into any of them? Did you do any?
The first year in 2020, I did about 5-6 big ones. Yeah,
sick.
I did one for Beatport, UKF. We did a big Viper one. What else did I do? Rampage as well. We all went. Well, that was it. When Rampage got cancelled, we went round to Pendulum Studio, and there was us, Delta Heavy, Matrix of Futurebound, KOVEN, and obviously Pendulum, and we just did a big live stream from there for the Rampage guys.
Sick. That's well cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you kicked off the year with annual 2022. Firstly, how do you choose the music for that? When do you start that process? Because obviously it comes out in January. How far back have you been signing music for that? And also, generally, how do you sign music for the label? What's the process?
Well, in answer to your question about how we do annual, it's one of the easiest sort of albums that we put together, really, because it's the best of the best, and it's the best of the best in terms of sales, in terms of popularity with the punters and stuff of the releases, mainly from 2021 that going through that year.
Gotcha.
As well as we had new exclusives to it, which is like a taste of 2022 and the year ahead, you know. So yeah, that's an enjoyable one. That one, it's very easy to put that one together.
That's cool. Okay, that's cool.
I mean, we do a lot of releases throughout the year, so yeah, we just kind of like scroll back and kind of. I always enjoy it actually because you kind of forget about the sort of hard work that's gone in throughout the year with the releases, you know. And so yeah, that's mainly the setup with that. But in terms of getting new music to us and for Viper. We have a demo submissions process, which is if you go to the Viper recording site, there's a demo submissions there, which we do via label radar. But if I'm honest, a lot of people reach out to me direct as well, because you can get to anyone these days, right? You can
Yeah.
You can really get to anyone on social media and stuff, and if you're persistent enough, the music will get through.
Do you like stuff being sent to the DMs and kind of are you one of those people that finds new music from DMs or is it an email thing? Like
bit of both. I like going on the demo submissions thing, the official one. I like just hearing people who send it direct to me as well, you know. And even though a lot of the stuff that I don't feel is ready for Viper yet, or isn't quite the sound of what we do, because I'm very particular about that. I know what I want for Viper, and that's what I want to keep it like that, as well as moving with the times. One thing I'm very careful of as well is the amount of music that we release, because we've got exclusive artists on the label, and we have kind of other ones who are established and passed through and stuff like that. So I don't want to kind of saturate it, you know what I mean, and kind of just kind of spread my time and the team's time thinly, you know what I mean. I want to kind of, because we put our heart and soul into the releases, you know. It's not just like, oh, let's bang it out there and see what happens. You know, it's careful planning, and obviously certain records have a higher ceiling to where they can kind of reach to than others. But that doesn't mean that if it's something like a straight up dance floor record, and that might not stream very well as much as like some of the other stuff, then we still go for it, you know. If it's something that's going to be like kind of doing well on the downloads and Beatport and things like that, it still gets the same attention, you know.
That's cool. Conclave in the chat. How would you describe the sound you're looking for? That's a good question.
Epic.
Epic. Love it.
When I started Viper and going back from when I was a kid, obviously growing up in the 80s and stuff, I was just like obviously brought up on like Human League and Depeche Mode and all these sort of people and Pink Floyd and all that, you know. That was my sort of taste in music, and so there's a lot of lead music in that, a lot of arpeggiators, a lot of electronic stuff, you know what I mean, and so I try I've carried that through in my sound, even when kind of like the rave scene started and when it moved into jungle and drum and bass, you know, that was something that when I got in the studio, that's what I always tried to do, you know, and it always just came out in my music. And so obviously when I started Viper, it was about continuing that sound, you know, and finding like-minded people with a similar sort of sound. And yeah, mainly it's sort of that epic, sort of powerful dance floor music on Viper. But saying that, if a tune's a tune and it's hot, well then it's got to have attention, you know.
I want to talk about 18 years of Viper, but I thought we'll carry on with the annual, and then I definitely want to dig into like the history of how you started, everything that's happened along the way. Like, yeah, for sure. Let's listen to music. Let's jar.
Yes, do it.
If we switch to here, look, we can get some music. Well, listen to music, gang. Right, what I thought I'd do, I picked a load of tracks, but we can kind of change those lists as we go. I thought we'd start with you, obviously it's your stream. I thought we'd start with you. Okay. Your number 4, number Slap Suey. tell us about this track. Tell us about working with BMotion, like collaborations in general. Are you obviously you're a big part of what you do anyway, but tell us about this collaboration, how you did it and how it came together.
Yeah. That was really enjoyable, that one, actually. And that was another one that kind of happened over time, you know. I had an intro going. Me and Ben have been talking about getting on a track for a while anyway, do you know what I mean? And Ben thinks the same as me when it comes to music, you know. We've got a very similar taste in what we like. And so it was very nice working with Ben on that one. And that was the first track we've ever done together and stuff. And so I had this intro, give Ben some stems. He developed the intro more. Then we kind of got into the drop section a bit more. I was working on a bass vibe, and Ben actually liked the bass stuff that I'd be created and the line of it in Serum, which when I bounced the stem to him, he kind of like got the stem of everything I'd done and kind of chopped it up into different parts and added some new ones in between. So it was cool to see him do that, you know.
That's cool.
That's the good thing I enjoy about kind of like collaborations, really, you know. Sometimes you like to because I take a long time on making music. Sometimes it's good to kind of just jump out the hot seat, become the listener, and let someone else just like you know. That's why it's always worked with me and Matrix, man. We've always done that with each other, you know. But yeah. So that track there, Slap Suey, that was really enjoyable to kind of see that, because obviously we made it during lockdown and most of this year, early on this year, and back end of last year, and to actually get the chance to play it out in the summer, it blew my mind just to kind of see the reaction, because you never know until you get it out there, really, do you? You know, you can think something's hot as hell, but yeah, that one, I remember playing it at Creamfields, and like there's like 5,000 people in the tent, and they got the rewind, and I was just like, wow, shit, you know. I felt like a little kid in the sweet shop.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. I love that. So you made this in lockdown. Shit. How was that? You just bouncing stuff back and forward? Was it, or did you have was it on Zooms, or how does that work?
Yeah, just getting it, because he works in Logic and I work in Cubase, and it was just about
oh man,
adding to it. We had to bounce stems for obvious reasons, and then just doing that. He'd rebounce the stems, and I'd take it as well, and it would just go like that. But it came together quite quick by my standards.
Let's listen to this track. Wicked. Let's get back in. That was cool. Should we give you the rave one? Someone in the chat mentioned VOE. How many more VOE tunes can we look forward to this year? This comes from Le Funny Name.
Yeah, they had a great year last year, but as may I add, because that was our first year working with them. We had to get it right. Obviously, you want to get out the traps and, you know, start things the right way. And I think we definitely did that. You know, we achieved a lot of things with them last year. Like people who never knew them, we got them in front of a whole new audience. And it's more of the same this year, really. That's the goal with the team, actually. We want to kind of do more releases. We're going to definitely do another EP with Viper. We're going to do a free download, actually, because we just released their Chemical EP recently, and there's a Chemical VIP, which is rather tasty. And we might do a free download soon, so keep your ears to the ground on that one. And
sick.
We'll be letting the people know about that one soon. But yeah, we're gonna do like a new EP with them as well. Same process where we'll do like 4 singles leading up to it, and but I think we're gonna do some releases outside the camp as well, because I think early doors with new acts as well. It's important to kind of, especially in this day and age, because there's so many new acts coming through, is to just kind of get them out there, man, and try and get as many new followers as possible and put them in front of as many new audiences as possible as well, But those guys are so talented, man. They sent me an email with must be about 25 new tunes.
I love that.
It's quite hard, man, because when they're all, a lot of them are really, really good, and you're kind of like shit. So it takes me. I don't like replying to people straight away, because sometimes you can hear something and go, yeah, that, and then you can listen to it in a different frame of mind a couple of days later, and it's not, you haven't got the same sort of feeling. So I like to listen to it a good few times, and but yeah, they've got so many good tunes coming, man.
I often think that when your artists are sending people tracks from an A&R point of view, sometimes you catch someone in the right mood and you get signed, but sometimes if they're not in that space, then they could not get signed because of that reason, So it's good to take more time,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me about them. So VOA, where are they? Tell me about these guys. So you signed them as an artist level, from a management level as well, then not just kind of releasing them.
Yeah, both. Yeah. We kind of do the whole thing with those guys, and they're based in Adelaide, Australia.
Sick.
And I feel so sorry for them. I mean, that was the only bad thing that I could say about 2021, really, because as most people know, that Australia and New Zealand were they didn't have it as bad as us, because they were very strict about people coming into the countries and stuff. So all their shows were carrying on, but I think it's got worse as 2021 come to an end, and they went into lockdown. I had a tour cancelled there as well, actually. So they're based over there, and they had a lot of shows cancelled, VOE, as well as all the other Aussie acts, because we've got some really good Australian acts actually on the Viper roster. We've got VOE, who are in Adelaide. We've got Blaine Stranger in Sydney. We've also got Sol as well. He's in Sydney, and we've got Echo and Sidetrack in Perth. So yeah, we've got some really strong acts on our roster from down there. Is
that how is it? How, like, I don't know how to even ask it. It's like, how is that, like, they just all come together at the same time? Is it because of the lockdown and the music's just being influenced over there by certain things? Like, yeah, it just seems you've got kind of like a lot of from over that side. And is there any reason for it, or is it just,
obviously, if you go back to like 10 years ago, we had like Shock One was like one of our first signings on the label. Longer than that actually. But his album came out 10 years ago, and I had real big success, especially in Australia for him. It elevated him to different levels, and so I think a lot of Australian acts kind of look at that success that we achieved with him, and also the kind of what the sound, the epic sound of what the label's known for, and kind of that's what they make and stuff. I mean, that's what is big in Australia and New Zealand. What the Viper sound, it's always done well down there. And so yeah, they've always just kind of sent the music over to us, really. Do you know what I mean? And put it in front of us.
Okay, let's play while we're talking about VOA. Let's play this Chemical, which is on the annual. Let's go back to this. Let's listen to VOA. Let's go for this.
Chemical reactions. Chemical reactions. Chemical reactions. Chemical reactions. Chemical reactions. Yeah, chemical reactions. Chemical reactions. You can always fight it. Oh, come
we go. That was sick. Let's give that the
Serious.
That was wicked. Such a big track.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things for Carnival's signing those guys. It was more than just the dance floor, what we were hearing when I was going through those demos, the potential in it. Obviously, I don't have to big them up. You can kind of hear the quality of what's going on there with the writing and the vocals, the chord progressions and stuff like that is just outstanding, stunning.
Yeah, agreed. That track is amazing. The vocals are amazing. I like the lyrics were incredible. Yeah, want to hear more of them. They're well cool.
Yeah, and the good thing about those guys, though, obviously, they can do more than just stuff that DJs want to play. But it's very streamable music, but they are very capable of making something that can smash it on the dance floor. They did a remix for Black Sun Empire last year, which killed it. They did one of the tracks off the EP as well was called "Come This Far," which people should check. So I mean, that was very DJ friendly, So they've just got it all in their locker, really, and I just think they're gonna do massive things this year, next year,
Do you feel you need to do that now as an artist? You need to kind of, cover both bases, streamable, then a DJ, then a streamable, and kind of just mix it up all the time with across those two bases?
I think it's important. Yeah, I do. Yeah, as well to kind of, obviously, if you can be an act that you're making music that's streaming well, that's where the majority of the people are consuming music these days. Obviously the DJs are going to Beatport and stuff like that, and to play stuff for the club. But even the stuff that resonates at club and as well as more vocal stuff, that is everyone's over at like Spotify and Apple Music and stuff, and Amazon now are growing as well.
Cool. You mentioned there's some exclusives on the album. 2 remixes. Let's talk about the Dossa Locuzzed one. I know Shelley in our team is big fans of these guys. Tell us about this one. Tell us about the remix. What did you? Let's talk about that.
Oh, so the Dossa Locuzzed remix, yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So they did that at some point last year, actually. Because we did Mardock's album, and it was actually supposed to come out on the deluxe version that we released early last year, but didn't make it in time. So, but it was just very quality. I mean, Dossa Locuzzed, they have just this. I mean, they've been with us now like 4 years, and they have this funk in their music. You know what I mean? That was what grabbed my attention when I first hearing their demos as well. But this is just a great remix what they did for Mardock as well. And Roni Size's track.
Let's give us a quick blast. Let's go. That's a banger. I really like that. It's groove, man.
Yeah.
Grooved along nicely.
They're talented boys, man. And obviously they've built up this kind of reputation over the last few years of making really cool DJ tracks that have a funk element, but also really smash it on the dance floor. They made that track Shag, which was one of their biggest to date. And but this year, 2021, they went down this different sort of techno lane. And they made this track called Dusk just after the release of their first album, and straight away it hit me. It was so deep. It was real techno vibes, So I said, we need to kind of wait the album do its thing, and then we'll kind of developed this one, and ever since that they've kind of gone on to kind of find this new lane with its drum and bass techno sound, you know, and obviously released Prism. But then you listen to like their other tracks which came out last year called Prism and Dusk, as I mentioned, and they cut it on the dance floor so nice, but they've just got this extra depth of techno, and it's really good, man.
That sounds cool. I like that idea. That's nice. Cool. Let's talk about Viper. Firstly up, loving that jacket. It's sick, mate.
Oh, you like this, yeah?
Yeah, it's sick.
You can get these on the Viper store.
Oh, we should put them in the link, man, because somebody else has said that in the chat earlier. Someone else has said that. They're sick. Next level merch.
Wicked. Yeah. I mean, that's with the merch as well. Like, I like my fashion as well, and I like to get into the creative side of that side of things of the business as well. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you can get these on the Viper site, man. I think if we've got any left, but these have always been a really good seller, you know.
They're cool. Let's talk about Viper. So it's 18 years this year, man. Congratulations. First and foremost.
I don't look bad for 18, do I?
I know.
Looking good, man.
I know. Talk to me about how it's like. Talk to me about what happened at the start. Why did you start it? What was the driving force? And then let's just work forward. Like, yeah.
Yeah, man. Just we were starting a label. I'd cut my teeth as a producer right through the 90s and stuff, and I think it was the early 2000s. I remember kind of having to make a decision about my mates were going to Australia and stuff, and I was like getting serious FOMO about the whole thing and thinking, if I stay, I've got to go for it, you know. I've really got to go for it now, because I've been through the 90s, as I say, I've been kind of like dipping my toe in and out of the producer pool and trying to make through, and it was very UK based drum and bass at that point, you know. I know it was starting to break out around the world as well, but it was very UK based, and I found it very hard to break into the London scene, as did many others. I love drum and bass so much, I was never going to give it up, you know. But anyway, yeah, I had to go for it in terms of upping the ante with my production, and also it had always been an ambition to kind of start a label. And at the time, I was working with J Magic at Infrared and releasing records over there. And Jamie's a very good friend of mine, and we've done a couple of albums like over on Infrared, and I helped him out bringing out a few artists over there and kind of giving feedback and stuff like that. And I enjoyed that process a lot, you know. And so it was about, I thought around about 2003, I had a couple of tracks like Blind Cobbler's Thumb and Pied Piper, and they were smashing it in the dance, man. A lot of people were playing them, and I could have released them elsewhere and got a quick fix of a load of DJ bookings, but I thought, no, maybe this is the time to start Viper, you know. And that was what I did. I had some hot labels wanting to trying to sign those records at the time, but I held out and kind of I went for the long game, and I'm so glad I did, man. It was the best decision of my life. That's
cool. And you've kicked off some careers of like some big old artists over the years. Can we talk about some of those? Like you've helped so many people along the way. What's some of your highlights? Yeah, I mean, let's talk about like obviously the early times of Viper and stuff, and kind of it was not long after I started working with Matrix as well, and we did our album Universal Truth, which got huge acclaim at the time and stuff, and kind of broke onto the airwaves a lot at Radio 1, which was kind of, at the time, there was only people like Steve Lamacq and people like that playing drum and bass, and he was actually playing the first Viper releases actually after 7 p.m. But with our album, we kind of started getting a lot of stuff on the airwaves, you know, from the album tracks, and people like Pete Tong and Annie Mac were big supporters and saying no, so that did really good for us as an act. But around the same time, you know, obviously I was growing Viper. I was in its infancy, first 5 years, and always a hard to start a label. And, you know, I always wanted it to be, as well as releasing my own stuff, a place for developing new talent, you know what I mean? That was always the plan. So one of our first acts that we signed was Shock One from Australia. And he kind of developed into like a huge name over there. Australia's still one of the biggest names in
in the bass music scene down there. And shortly after that, we signed Metric as well.
Nice.
And Tom, it was great working with Tom in those early years as well, you know, and kind of giving him the platform for his music and stuff. And you could always tell people like Shockwan and Metric were going to go on to great things and stuff. They just needed that kind of extra support, you know, and I say the platform for the music and stuff like that. And so they were the first signings and first exclusive artists that we worked with on the label. Yeah, I think once the label was gaining this like consistent sort of epic sort of drum and bass sound, more and more people were kind of looking over this way, really. Do you know what I mean? And we were going for it with the record in terms of how we were programming them and the reach that we were getting on them. Obviously people like DC Breaks then start like hit us up saying that they wanted the kind of their music. They thought they had music that really fitted what we did, and it just went on from there, man. You know, kind of snowballed. Then Cabo and Crooked hit us, and just all these sort of people. And Delta Heavy sent their first tracks, although we didn't work with them over a long basis. We only did a couple of releases with them, but I'd say that the game changer for us was an album called Axe of Madmen in 2009, and that was kind of like where I spent a lot of time putting it together. But it was kind of where we kind of upped the ante with like how we were doing releases as well. Do you know what I mean? We got to engage with a radio plugger, and never done that before. And the whole thing just like snowballed and exploded from there, really. And kind of, I think we were seen as a more professional brand then, you know, if that's the right word.
Yeah, no, totally is. Yeah,
that artists wanted to be part of, you know. And up until that point, we hadn't kind of really done albums on the artist albums or compilations, and that kind of snowballed and triggered us to kind of give us the confidence then to kind of, you know, do it well for artists, and also start doing like compilations like Summer Slammers and the Sound of Drum and Bass and various things like that, you know. So I think those first 5 years for any label, it's always a hard part, you know. If you can get to that point and kind of turn the corner and kind of go up another couple of notches, it puts you in good stead then, you know.
So that album was obviously expanded things. Was that a scary time? Was it kind of like that kind of balance between, yes, we're going to put an album out, how do we do this? Kind of, how, you know, that kind of nice headspace between freaking out but also really exciting time. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, me as a person, I've never really kind of put any walls in front of me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even when people are telling me, "Oh, how are you going to do that?" You know what I mean? I don't care. I just go at it. I go at it. That's when I'm probably at my strongest, actually. You know, when I'm put in the corner and I've got to fight my way out and stuff. So, yeah, that doesn't faze me, that. You know, that kind of excites me and eggs me on even more, really, to be a success at something, you know what I mean? And you're never going to be a success at everything, but I'm not scared of failure, you know. It's kind of, and I try and instill that to the guys, you know, because obviously some people aren't the same, and kind of, you know, they worry a bit about things and stuff, and I try and instill that, you know, don't worry about it, man. Do you know what I mean? What will be, but you know, when the feeling's right about something, that's when you go for it then, do you know?
That's cool. Yeah, I'm the same. Let's try everything, and if something works, and cool, and if it doesn't, fails, and you're going to learn a lot along the way, aren't you? So,
of course, man. Yeah.
And then you mentioned you kind of struggling then, trying to obviously breaking into that London scene back then as well. What point was that, and how did what kind of got you in that scene? Was it then those records on the radio? Was it a certain release that helped you?
It was probably a mixture of different things. It was probably a mixture of me not being consistent enough,
right,
and knocking down the doors. And going back into the 90s, especially, drum and bass was a locked off thing, man. It was like a mafia. It was like, honestly, God, that's the best way of describing it, man. It was like there was only certain few who could, you know, there were certain names who were running, and controlling who was coming through, you know. And
no way.
Yeah. I mean, not in a violent way or nothing, but like they were kind of controlling it in the music, you know what I mean? And kind of, they'd have a big say in it. Yeah, man, I've got to thank people like Fabio and Grooverider, man, because their radio show was that was a game changer for me and a lot of other artists, because they just, they supported everyone, that was giving them the music, so that played a big part in me kind of breaking through.
That's cool.
I hate it when people slag off radio and drum and bass at radio and stuff, because it's just a nonsense comment, or because the airwaves actually break a sound to a much wider audience, and kind of and it can engage with people who aren't really into something, you know what I mean? It can catch them at a different time and kind of encourage them to get into something. So yeah, Fab and Groove show was like massive back in the time for me, do you know what I mean? But I'd say at the start of the 2000s, I was kind of up in the ante, as I say. I was kind of making sure that I was going to make more tunes and kind of bigger tunes. And more tunes edge the dance floor as well, because that's massively important.
Yeah, I agree with you about radio. Like I even the last two, like obviously the last 2 years, I feel like it kind of got a little bit of its stature back as well. Like it has been the one that's been breaking the tracks, because that's where, apart from live streams, it's literally one of the only places you can break tracks, So I agree with you about radio. Yeah,
I'm a little bit disappointed at some of the stations in the UK at the moment, though, to be honest. They're not supporting the music enough, I know it's rowdy in parts, the music. I know it's rebellious, but the youth are rebellious, right?
Yeah,
we were all rebels, and that's why we got into drum and bass. And drum and bass has like kind of been the springboard for lots of different genres. Where do you think grime come from? Where do you think garage came from, and stuff like that? Dubstep. So yeah, I think they need to show us a bit more respect, really, the UK radio scene, and I mean all of them at that, because they're putting on drum and bass at early hours in the morning and stuff like that. And it should be prime time Friday night, man.
I agree. You have your own radio show, which is part of Data Transmission Radio. So and you do that regularly as well. So
yeah, started that last year in lockdown, actually. March 2021 was when we kicked it off, and yeah, I mean, that was another reason for it, to be honest. I was just getting so pissed off with the limited amount of airtime that drum and bass was getting. And I know Laurie Charlesworth, she does a wicked show as well, representing drum and bass and playing the best right across the board. Where I started Viper Radio for, it's called Viper Radio, but I play everyone else's music as well, and stuff that fits in the epic sound of what we do as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not just Viper who does that. So yeah, I started last year, man, and we syndicated. Currently being syndicated to 21 stations around the world. We have like an average, since it started, it's back last year, we've had like an average listener reach of like 530,000, I think it was last time. That's on the airwaves. And then obviously in the tens of thousands who download it as a podcast version as well. So I'm over the moon the way it's gone so far, and we're going for it more and more. They're talking about certain stations I'd like me to kind of do it weekly. But my capacity at the moment, man, it's stretched, trying to be a producer, trying to run a label, doing a radio show, and family time as well, it's kind of spreading yourself thin, Yeah, so some of the stations around the world, some of the bigger ones, they require weekly shows. So I'm sure it's possible. I just probably have to get a sidekick helping me,
Yeah.
Because at the moment, I'm kind of doing it all, I'm kind of obviously putting the music together. We're doing various interviews. We've had some great guests on the show, like, from KOVEN right through to AMC, right through to Pendulum, and next month's going to be Hazard.
Sick.
So just loads of different people. So I'm doing it all, really, and I can't take all the credit, because like Assad from Viper, who's my right hand man there, he's helped a lot with it, and we're going to take it onto Spotify soon as well.
That's cool.
That's just a clusterfuck, Spotify, though, because I play so much new music. it's hard to kind of get it on there, you know. But that's why I started. That's another reason why I started it, because growing up with Fabian Grooverider, Bookham, and all those people on Kiss FM and Radio 1, they were just playing tunes that some of it never came out, you know. And that's where it was. That was the spot to play, to hear new music, you know. And that's what I wanted Viper Radio to be like. I wanted to play music way up front. And I know a lot of the guys don't want to kind of work to that because they want the new way of doing it is like keeping it in line with the release date and stuff. But in terms of the Viper releases and friends within the scene, we're playing a lot of stuff that, you know, months ahead.
That's cool. That's really good. I get the sense you're kind of like, if something's not happening, it's like, right, I'll just do it myself and I'll make my own radio show. There's not enough airtime, right, I'll make my own radio show. There's not some, you know, it's not enough releases, I'll make my own label. I've
always been like that, man. I don't wait around for anyone. You know, it's like if someone doesn't believe in your vision or your sound or whatever you're doing, crack on, make it happen yourself. You know, that's the only way to do it.
Love that. You mentioned KOVEN, another one of those that's kind of come through the Viper releases. Let's talk about those guys.
Well, I mean, they've gone into great things now, and I feel very proud when I think of acts like KOVEN and stuff, and you know, that kind of male-female duo, and obviously Max is a very talented producer. You know, he's always had that cinematic sound, and that's what Viper's about, you know, and that's what caught my ear straight away. Before we signed those guys, I was listening to it and thinking, same sort of feels as what I'm getting from VOE, really. Do you know what I mean? It's a male and female duo, and just it's great with KOVEN, you know, just seeing what they're achieving now and stuff. And it was, I wouldn't say it was a struggle at first, but it's always harder with new acts and stuff, and kind of you can shout from the rooftops, and sometimes people don't kind of react to it until it's kind of slapping them in the face, really. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's happened with KOVEN now, you know what I mean? For years and years, just knocking at the door with amazing music. It's always streamed very well, their music. It's really nice to listen to. Hats off to those guys. I mean, I love what they do. I wish them all the very best now for the future, you know?
I always think there's like a 3-year kind of like, right, I'm starting something. It's definitely going to take me at least 3 years, because the first year I'm going to shout and no one's going to listen. And the second year I'm going to shout and some people are going to listen. And then the third, like you say, the third year is then me slapping them in the face with it. And then everyone kind of goes, oh yeah, this is quite cool. You should have told us about this before, you know?
Exactly. You know, I'm like, I did tell you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You were one of the first to hear the music, but yeah, no, exactly that, Graham. You know, that's some people just need a couple of slaps in the face or 10 slaps in the face before they actually get on board. You know, but no. So it's they're one of those acts and stuff. I guess with KOVEN as well. Maybe I've tried to understand why it took a bit longer, and I think one of the reasons is because it's not straight up DJ sort of rollout music, which DJs all want to play, and their early stuff was especially like that, and you know, a lot of it now as well. I think that was kind of a longer process for them, where the DJs weren't playing the music at club, you know. But yeah, I think right now you can't. It's an unstoppable kind of snowball with those guys, you know. And
that's cool.
A great example of like when you think something's not getting through, just keep doing what you're doing, because eventually, if you know it's quality, then it's going to do it, you know, at some point.
Yeah, having that consistency, I guess, and it feels like the label had the consistency for the, you know, even the last 2 years, it's just been consistent. It's a big part of everything you do, I guess.
I mean, consistency is key for everyone in every walk of life, isn't it? You know, you're going to have those periods where you're going to hit its peaks and troughs, isn't it? Life, and you're going to have those periods where you kind of going to hit some bad form, make mistakes, and it's how you pick yourself off the canvas, man, and kind of get back up and go for it. I always remember feeling like when me and Matrix were like in the top 10, and we went on the top 40 show on Radio 1, and kind of like they called us in because we were like 3 weeks in the top 10 with Control at the time. And then I remember getting on the train on the way home and like feeling this proud, sort of euphoric highness, thinking, shit, look at everything that I've done and came from. and I've just done that. You know what I mean? And then straight away, 2 minutes later, thinking to myself, "Fuck, I've got to get in the studio on Monday and make another one." Do you know what I mean? And the pressure was like, it amps up. It never stops, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That must be mad. That top 10. Top 10. Wow. That must be mental.
Yeah. We had 4 top 40s, and one of them was like 3 weeks top 10. Yeah.
Man, congratulations. That's sick.
Yeah. I mean, great achievements, man. Do you know what I mean? And I've said many times, we fell into that purely by mistake, that whole scene. But when we did fall into it, you know, the doors opened and you kind of walk through it and kind of experienced it. It was amazing. It was good. You know?
How are you gonna? How's the label pushing things forward for 2022? Like finding more diverse talent. You know, obviously you're quite good at that anyway. But how do you push forward, and how do you kind of what's happening this year?
We're gonna keep consistent doing what we're doing. At the end of the year, when we're kind of planning like stuff like annual out and stuff like that for the start of the following year, and we always try to get ahead of the first 2 months, so it gives us that breathing space to kind of think ahead after that as well, you know. And in terms of artists that were you know, looking out for new talent, obviously I don't want to kind of spread ourselves thin on the team. I'm very, very happy about the acts that we've got, you know what I mean? And I want to keep the focus on them. But saying that, if someone comes along who's absolutely shit hot, then you can't ignore it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, from my point of view as well, it's kind of like, I'm seeing more, I can see things opening up again this year with COVID and stuff, and like more planning can be done. We stepped out the events arena once COVID kicked in, like everyone else did and stuff, and we were going to do something in 2021 once the kind of things opened up, but it was just saturated, man, especially in London and stuff like that. It was we just thought, nah, we'll sit tight, you know, because what's happening now is you've got a backlog of people from when the COVID first kicked in from 2020, still trying to do their nights that was planned then, you know. So you're seeing this, a lot of nights that you see now have all been rescheduled from back then. So I think this year there's more planning to be had, and you know, if you go back 12 months ago, you couldn't do that. It was a shit show, wasn't it? So.
In a minute, I'm going to ask you about your 5 things producers need to know for that series that I have on YouTube. But I thought we'd talk about you've got a new remix out, and we've got a copy of it. So I just want to let's listen to this. I thought I'd give you a little heads up to start thinking about those 5 things.
It's not out yet. You're going to play the Muzz remix, right?
Yes. When is this out? Tell me about this.
This is coming out next month.
Nice.
He did an album in 2020, and yeah, he's doing a series of remixes with various acts he's tried to bring in, and I'm one of them on that one. So I've remixed his track Spectrum.
When you got offered a remix, what do you look for? Like, where do you start with it? Like, talk us through that little process.
Am I getting the feels off the original? And then I kind of like, I try and focus in on the elements that are making up the record, you know, whether it's the vocal, whether it's the chords, whether it's what's the bass doing, and does it kind of could I do something with it, you know? It's the next thing, and that was when he asked me to pick one of the tracks off the album. That was an obvious one for me. Some of his sounds from the original in that, and some of my new ones that I've added to it, and and he liked one of my tracks, Dangerous, from last year, and I kind of got some of the bass elements that I made for that in there as well.
Question from Harvest in the chat: do you still use hardware, or are you all in the box now?
Yeah, I used to be hardware when I first started and stuff, and then obviously through the 2000s, it's becoming more prominent with like you just using the computer and stuff, and so I kind of fell into that. And but lately, I'm getting a new studio built downstairs at the moment, and I've got some hardware which I'm gonna try and get going again.
What have you bought?
But it's minimal at the moment. Just like some EQ hardwares and stuff, and Zal EQs, and but I am going to add to it, and I wouldn't mind getting some new hardware synths as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have go-to plugins that you're kind of regular on? Or I know that's a question that usually happens in the chat.
Yeah. I use a lot of the UAD stuff actually.
Nice.
I really like their stuff, and it's warm. And there's that. I like the guys at Isotope were very kind, send me over a lot of stuff. And the best limiter that I've ever used inside the box is by Newfangled Audio, and it's incredible, man. It's just so good, which I discovered in lockdown.
Oh, cool. So that's a new edition. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Conclave asks, is there any plan for a new version of the Edge?
Yeah, someone else, a couple of people have asked me that actually. A new version of the Edge. I'm not sure what I could do with it. What you could do with that? Why doesn't he have a go?
There you go. Have a go, Conclave. What's your favourite non-DMB label? Wow, it's a big one.
I'm going to say Defected.
Nice.
Because I'm really into my house and stuff, and in terms of talking about consistency, like we did before, those guys have been one of the most consistent in electronic music since day dot, right?
Nice. Yeah, Wes is going to join me on stream soon, I think. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Okay.
Question from MC Optimistic. Can you ask Futurebound if he needs a forthcoming female MC vocalist for some of his tunes, please? Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to hear what she's got on, or kind of if she's got anything recorded, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, so send it to him.
Yeah, definitely.
Hit him up. Let's play one more from the album. And let's go back to here. Yes, there we go. Here's a question for you. Who is your future stars of 2022-23?
Emanu and Bunshin, I'm going to say.
Ooh.
Because those guys are on a different planet at the moment in terms of like production and just creative ideas and how they're executing it. So they're definitely those two. I'm going to say VOE. God, there's so many. Honest to God, there's so many people right now who are just like blowing my mind music-wise. I don't want to say too many of the Viper guys because that'd be unfair, actually. They all just they're just amazing, all of them. But I tell you who to watch who's going to make a return this year. That was DJ Fresh.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's got some bangers lined up. Yeah, I caught up with Dan before Christmas, and he sent me a load of stuff, which was just like, I was like, wow, you've been busy. So yeah, keep your eyes on him. He's got lots of new stuff.
Let's play another one that's exclusive. I found it. The Kara remix. Let's listen to this. So this is an exclusive DJ Kara's remix, DJ Phantasy. Wow.
Kara's she's doing some great things from the female side of acts that were coming through and stuff. She's great as a DJ, really good. And I think this is one of the first productions actually.
Amazing. Let's play this.
Junglist, yo. I am a junglist, 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 I am a junglist, 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 I am a junglist.
Whoa, that was massive. That was sick. Let's give that the rave on. I've been told we've got some new, two new tracks as well, two more exclusives. So I've got a brand new one from BMotion, which is called Airtime. Do you want to talk about? We can talk about that one.
Yeah. This is our first new single of the year. And what a way to kick it off. BMotion, man. Just, stunning production on this one. I call these records more than the dance floor records because they're just something that it just suits every occasion, you know. And he's got some more stuff throughout the year as well. So, and there's actually another collab that me and him have started on last year, which we've got to finish off. So I'll time for that as well.
That's cool. Okay, let's play this track.
Pull me in, push me out. Pull me in, push me
Wow, that's huge. That's such a nice tune.
Yeah, lovely.
You mentioned about radio play earlier. If that one doesn't get picked up by the radio stations, that'd be a travesty. That's mad.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But yeah, you just don't know what this is like. I don't sit around waiting for radio anymore, you know.
Finally, you mentioned about getting back on the road. You've got a stage at One in the Woods again this year. You
right.
did it before. Should we just talk about that and the lineup and the kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the One in the Woods last year was my first show back. After all, like 18 months out and stuff. And honest to God, man, it was like, I know some people kind of describe their festivals or whatever in the woods or in a location. This was actually inside the woods, and it was just special, man. It was the vibes, and it was great, you know. Just, yeah. It was just, everyone there was just having it, you know. There was no pretentious people. It was just, it was great, man. You know?
Am I right in saying it's up by up by you somewhere? It's Northern Festival. Is that right?
It's literally 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It's right on the coast, in a place called Formby. There's a woods there, and then obviously the coastline. But yeah, fantastic, man. So yeah, we work closely with those guys, and it's great to be going back there this year, you know.
And have you announced your lineup? Is that out? I saw a big lineup announced, but have you announced your stage lineup?
No, the stage lineup is going to be like our stage, and there's also a World of Drum and Bass stage the night after. So that's going to be announced over the next week or so, man.
Nice. Keep an eye, gang. Keep an eye.
Yeah, it's big, sorry, man. You won't be disappointed if you go to that, trust me.
Yeah, I saw that flash up on Instagram the other day, and I was just like, whoa, that's a big lineup for a festival. And the artwork looks sick, and yeah, cool. And
the whole thing with the festival, it's based, the focus is drum and bass and techno, you know, and obviously a little bit of house as well, but the main focus is drum and bass. You know, it's those guys ain't messing about, man. It's proper.
Shelley says she definitely wants to go this year.
Yeah, you should, Shelley. You should.
She's well excited. Wicked with F, Gav. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so much fun.
My pleasure, man.
So much amazing music, man.
And if anyone wants to kind of like, they like what they've heard and they want to kind of hear our Viper stuff, you know, they always go over to the official playlist on Spotify, man. Viper Recordings playlist. You can hear all those records. Amazing.
We've been dropping links in the chat throughout as well. So, yeah, go and check them out. Go and give them some love. Go and to stream and download the album, the annual 22. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Graham. Cheers, man.
If you found this interview interesting, consider giving it a like and a comment. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and let me know your biggest takeaway below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. I'm back on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you can check out the schedule from the link below as well to see who's coming up in my interview series. I'll see you in the next Twitch stream or the next YouTube video. I'll see you soon. Bye.